Hey guys, Age here, and I have big news and good news for any Charge Blade user. Well, actually, this can apply to any um, Monster Hunter weapon that has like focus aiming issues. I have a solution, and it's not that expensive. All right, you see, in my last video, I was complaining about how I have to use my left thumb on my right joystick to aim while I use my Savage Axe mode. It's a bit cumbersome, but I was getting used to it, right? And then just 3 hours ago, I was playing with my cheap ass controller, which we'll talk about in a second, and I was just like, oh, why couldn't the programmable buttons work in this game? And what I'm referring to is this keyboard configuration. You go here, go to melee weapons, and it looks like, oh my god, you can map an extra B button or map your controller to if you have extra buttons on your controller, you can map it to the right mouse click, right? No. My controller has extra buttons and it does not pick up the button. Where is it? God damn it. Sorry for do it live. Anyways, yeah. It does not map at all. The game doesn't pick up my controller extra buttons at all. And so I thought it was utter garbage. It wasn't a really big deal because this cheap ass controller was just a backup. It was in storage for about a month because I I have an official Xbox controller and you know I don't know when or where my buttons may go. Like I've learned that from experience. It's just like you're playing a game and suddenly your B button goes, your trigger goes, and it's like, well, I can't play this game anymore. And it's like you're sitting there waiting for a replacement from Amazon or something like that. So it's like I can't play. So just basically, I bought a while the official controllers are like really really expensive. You know, $85 Canadian here. This controller was cheap, and I'll show you. And this was just a backup, but this backup controller is way better than the official. All right. The cons are sometimes it'll randomly do a random button prompt, and then I'm saying like once every couple hours, it will go like that. I'm like, wait, I didn't press the middle the Xbox whatever middle button. Just or that's what it does sometimes, but I can live with that. The benefit is that I finally figure out how to program this button. All right, I want to, and I'll show it to you that it works. That I have 360-degree focus aiming while doing your Savage Axe combo. Watch. Okay, so rotate. Oh shit, I turned it off. Turned my programmable button off. There we go. It's back. See? Just like that. Off and on. You could easily turn it off. You could turn it on. You could reprogram it to do two buttons into one. So you can do your YB button combo just by pressing one button. Okay, so let's rotate. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. That's a bit dizzy, but as you can see, I didn't stop rotating the camera at all while I was doing my Savage Axe combo. Alright? And now I will show you the answer. Where is it? This. This is what I'm using. I bought this for $35. You can see the last purchase, so this isn't a con or anything like that, or a promotion. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. This is just, I just needed a cheap ass controller as a backup, and I chose like, oh, this one has Bluetooth and um, uh, 2.4G with an adapter and everything like that, and oh, look at that, it has extra buttons. and it's only $35. So I bought it, left it in storage for a month, played the beta with the Xbox controller and stuff like that, and then and then it hit me like yesterday. It's like, oh, what if I could use the programmable buttons as an extra B button? And then my last video I talked about it, and it says you can't do it. It doesn't pick it up, and the controller profiling software this controller comes with is utter garbage. I don't endorse this company because of their scummy practices. All right, the profiling controller profile thing doesn't work. It's not. It doesn't even work with the controller. The only thing you can use the software that they don't even give you a USB with it on or anything like that. You actually have to go to their website, go through their customer care, and then find their software, and then Ultimate Controller software. Download that and find out that it only updates your firmware. That's it. You can't reprogram your buttons. You can't program your extra buttons or nothing like that. It's utter garbage. And so I sat there and I'm like, well, the two extra buttons are out of, since I can't program them at all because of the software, and the games don't pick. I tried it on other games. The other games don't pick up the extra buttons. And then out of frustration, a couple hours ago, I hit here it is. Let's get this on view here. Yeah, there. I hit that button with the square on the top right, and I was mashing. I'm like, why don't you work with B? Why don't you work with B? And I'm like hitting that button, hitting B button, and hitting the R4 button. As you can see, right where the right bumper is, that's the extra programmable button. They're on either side. L4 and R4, right? So I was I was doing that, and it wasn't working. And then my thumb slipped, and I hit both the programmable button, and the minus button as next to it. I hit both of them and hit the R4 button, and then suddenly I was playing Monster Hunter, and I was like, "Bring up map, bring up map, bring up map," and I'm like, I'm hitting this a couple times. I'm like, what's going on? I'm not hitting the minus button is the select button in Monster Hunter with this controller. I'm like, I'm not hitting the select button. And then I'm like sitting there saying like R4, map comes up. I'm like B, R4, map comes up. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, what's going? And then I hit, and then I'm like, oh my god. And then I quickly got my instruction manual this thing comes with, which is utter garbage. I'm going to talk about that in a second. The instruction manual is wrong. Because it's a Chinese company, they don't know how to word things properly. They're using the same word in too many places. What the wording sounds like is that you push the programmable button, and then you push the program button. So you press the circle with the square, and you hit R4. And what should happen is that the game should pick it up as a button, and you can map it to the keyboard with the controller profile. And I'm like, my god, your wording is so horrible. What you're supposed to do is press the programmable button, press the button you want to copy. So in this case, we want to copy B. So you hit the circle with the square, you hit B and hold. Alright, so you're holding the button with the square, and you're holding down B, and you're just tapping the button you want to program, which is R4, and bam, there it is. You now have two B buttons. And let me say this again. The R4 button, you could program any button on the controller, and you can program two buttons into one. So you know how for instance, charge X, YB, YB, YB. That's a combo, right? You could program that YB input into R4. So you're just pressing R4 and it counts as 2 buttons. That you could do that too. So this is my answer to the focus aiming thing. You could have 360-degree aiming, just like the great sword, or I'm not sure how if bow and the other range weapons get that too. But this is just, hey, there is an answer, and it's a cheap one. I actually was good. It's like I actually mentioned, it's like, well, you can buy the $200 Xbox Elite controller, which come with paddles at the bottom, right? Which, come on, click. Yeah, yeah. Which, like, at the bottom of there, it's like, it's kind of awkward, but don't spend $200 on that. You buy this really cheap controller and get great the same effect. All right. So like I said, again, I'm not supporting. I'm not endorsed or any paid or anything like that. This is just, I found an answer. This is it, and it will cost you. I mean, people are spending thousands of dollars upgrading their PC, buying a new PC for this game, and complaining about graphics and all that stuff. Like it's like they're willing to spend that much money to play this game at 40K and all that stuff like that. So I'm like, I might as well make a vid and say, hey, for those of you with any focus aiming issues with Charge Blade particular, because I have experience with it and it does work. I don't know about the other weapons, but for those other weapons, you could just take a look at this and say, huh, I can make that work with my weapon type of thing. But, you know, they'll spend money on it. Say, hey, and just give a thumbs up. Like, hey, this guy's right. This guy's all right. He actually helped me. I did what he did, and it works, and my play is a lot more fun. I'm not as frustrated with the aiming process with my weapon. Yay! So give me a thumbs up if if you do actually buy it. Well, not even if you buy it, but just it's a good tip. So that's my answer to Charge Blade's aiming thing. And again, I'm gonna reiterate this: don't believe the instructions that come with it. It's wrong. All right. I'm gonna say this one more time. This is how you properly program your buttons, your programmable buttons. You hold the button with the square. That is your program button. You hold down the button you want to copy. All right? The Y, the X, the A, the B, the R3, what the R or right another right trigger. It doesn't matter. Just hold down the button you want to copy, and then tap the programmable button. The R4 or the the R the L4. Those are your programmable buttons, and that's like the program mode button, the square button. I'm calling them the same thing, but just hold down the button with the square, the B button, and then tap one of the programmable buttons, and it will work. And you can switch this on the fly. I was trying this with Lance, and Lance's bread and butter is the Y button. You just keep mashing Y, and you do multi-hit, multi-thrust constantly, right? I'm actually, I was gonna go with like a light stats affecting bow gun as my secondary in Monster Hunter, but Lance was so easy to stay within the monster's head because of this controller that I'm like, I just might have that as my backup. If I fight a monster that I can't, constantly keep Savage Axe going because it moves too fast or I can't stagger it enough, I could just go. I can go Lance and just stay on its head just constantly 100% uptime on the head because of this controller. Because I mapped Y to the R4 leaving my right thumb to keep aim. So I'm holding down left trigger. I'm holding down left trigger constantly, and I'm constantly aiming with my right thumb on the joystick and just hitting R4 constantly over and over and over, and just keep that aim on its head. So yeah, this this controller will benefit other weapons in Monster Hunter. Just if you're not a charge blade main, and just look at this weapon and think about it. Again, this has been Age, and this is my answer to the aiming problem with charge blade that could possibly work with other weapons. Thanks for joining me.